Iran is moving to upgrade its air power with Russian MiG-29s, Su-35s and Chinese missiles, signaling strategic ambitions despite sanctions. Nuclear sites at Fordow, Natanz and Isfahan were damaged, but scientific know-how remains intact, keeping enrichment on track. Israel stresses pressure, not war, as UN talks race to prevent snapback sanctions amid growing regional tensions. Iran appears to be moving to strengthen its air capabilities, with reports suggesting the arrival of Russian MiG-29 fighter jets and the anticipated delivery of more advanced Sukhoi Su-35 aircraft. Abolfazl Zohraband, a member of Iran Parliament's National Security Committee, told regional media that the MiG-29s were intended as an interim measure, while Tehran awaits the Su-35s as a long-term solution. He also claimed that China's HQ-9 and Russia's S-400 air defense systems are being supplied in significant numbers, although neither Moscow nor Beijing has confirmed the deliveries.
Russian MiG-29 fighter jets have arrived in Iran and are stationed in Shiraz, while Sukhoi Su-35 jets are also on the way.
Iran has long sought to modernize its aging air force, which relies heavily on US-made jets purchased before the 1979 revolution, supplemented by Russian and locally upgraded aircraft. State media reported the first Su-35s were handed over in January, but operational numbers remain unclear, and Western analysts note deliveries may be slowed by Russia's commitments in Ukraine. Farzan Nadimi, a defense analyst with the Washington Institute for Near East Policy, said it is unlikely that the recent claims of new fighter jet deliveries or Chinese HQ-9 systems reflect reality. Analysts suggest the announcements may be intended to signal Iran's strategic partnerships and bolster domestic confidence amid tensions over potential UN sanctions.
I don't believe there is any truth in the claims made by the Iranian parliament member. At best, it could be a desire or request communicated to the Russians by the extremely worried Iranians. But chances of it, or HQ-9B delivery by China, happening in the foreseeable future is close to zero.
Zohraband described the MiG-29s as a stopgap while awaiting Su-35s, highlighting Tehran's ongoing interest in bolstering air defenses, particularly after Israeli strikes destroyed S-300 systems earlier this year. Independent experts caution that many of these claims remain unverified. They emphasize the need to separate official assertions from confirmed military developments. Mohammad Eslami, head of Iran's Atomic Energy Organization and vice president, told Sky News in Vienna that past military attacks and broken agreements have no bearing on Iran's nuclear trajectory. He described Iran's nuclear program as independent and emphasized the country's continued commitment to scientific and industrial development.
It is quite normal that during a military attack on facilities, they incur damage and the infrastructure is destroyed. What is important is that science, know-how, technology, and industry are long-standing and deeply rooted in the history of Iran. The enrichment percentage is not necessarily for weapons when it is high. We need higher enrichment for our sensitivities and precision measurement tools. No one is selling us these items. We have been under sanctions for years. We need these products for the safety system of our reactors and for sensitive processes used for managing our reactors.
Eslami acknowledged that the Fordow, Natanz and Isfahan sites sustained damage from bunker-busting bombs, but stressed that Iran's scientific knowledge, technology and industrial expertise remain intact. He defended uranium enrichment as a peaceful activity, necessary for reactor safety and precision measurements, dismissing Western claims of weapons ambitions. Rafael Grossi, Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency, told The Times that Iran retains the capacity to rebuild its nuclear program, While some centrifuges were destroyed, others may have survived, and enrichment from 60% to weapons grade could occur within weeks if pursued. Inspections have resumed at some sites, but access to uranium stockpiles remains limited. With a September 27th deadline looming for the reimposition of UN sanctions under the nuclear deal's snapback mechanism, European powers are holding last-minute talks. Iranian officials have indicated ongoing diplomatic consultations, but reaffirmed that the country will maintain its nuclear trajectory if no compromise is reached, underscoring the fragile balance between containment and escalation. Israel's ambassador to the United Nations, Danny Danon, says there is no immediate prospect of war with Iran, following joint US-Israeli strikes on Tehran's nuclear facilities in June. Speaking to Iran International at UN headquarters, Danon described the attacks as delivering a significant setback to Iran's nuclear program, setting back its capabilities by several years. Danon emphasized that Israel's priority is not escalation, but international pressure. He called on the global community to leverage the setback through tougher sanctions and stricter inspections, while remaining skeptical of Tehran's reported offer to dilute its enriched uranium without intrusive verification.
As of now, I see now is the time for the international community to step in and to apply more pressure. I don't think we're moving toward war. Israel is a peaceful nation. And I think Iran should focus its energy supporting the Iranian people, not to spend billions on the proxies, on Hezbollah, on the Houthis. Should support their own people in Iran. They deserve better than that.
He noted that any future military action would depend on Iran's nuclear and missile activities, and urged Tehran to focus resources on supporting its people rather than proxies abroad. Danon's remarks came as Iran's Supreme Leader, Ali Khamenei, rejected negotiations with Washington, and last-minute talks in New York sought to prevent the automatic reimposition of UN sanctions.